26 years ago. The first John Shires has the Premier League news.
And Gary Kelly's goal in Leeds United's 2-0 win at Southampton gives the newspaper headline writers an opportunity they can't resist. It was incidentally Kelly's first ever senior goal for Leeds. Elsewhere, the first red card of former Leeds midfielder David Batty's career earns him plenty of column inches. Meanwhile, much of today's coverage of Sheffield Wednesday focuses not on yesterday's 1-1 draw at Sunderland, but on Reggie Blinker's worldwide FIFA ban for allegedly signing for two clubs at around the same time. Owls manager David Pleat hopeful it will all end happily. The Owls are now in 10th spot in the Premiership. Third-placed Arsenal have the chance to close the gap on the top two. They play Spurs this afternoon. Leeds United's second win in 3 matches sees them jump to 14th. The bottom two, Forest and Blackburn, play tomorrow night. Well, now on with yesterday's action in the Nationwide League.
After last week's fall from grace at Swindon, Barnsley needed to get the season back on track against Portsmouth, and things went swimmingly for the first hour. Aaron Flahaven just keeping out Neil Redfern's header. The breakthrough came thanks to a goal from a striker showing great awareness. Andy Liddle cut the ball back, but it was Paul Wilkins's run and ability to exploit angles that resulted in him finding the net. Terry Venables is taking over as Portsmouth's chairman. Between coaching Australia, he'd have been impressed by David Watson's reflexes there. But the man of the match was John Hendrie. His cross induced Andy Thompson's shove. Redfern's penalty not powerful enough to beat Flahaven. The first scare for the Reds came from Whitbread's free kick, which panicked Steve Davis into heading against his own bar. But then that man Hendrie came into the picture again. He really had no right to score from this position, but he did. Vintage Hendrie. Portsmouth are showing a bit more resolve this season. They started to hit back when Lee Bradbury got the better of Matty Appleby. And this time John Durnin does show the way to take a spot kick. It looked as if Barnsley might throw it away. Pompey struck again 7 minutes later. An excellent move this, climaxed by Paul Hall's cross and Bradbury's finish. Barnsley curiously hadn't won on a Saturday at Oakhall for 9 months, but they did it yesterday. Flahaven's punch not good enough to prevent Steve Davis potting the winner and celebrating with a Ravanelli impression. Barnsley 3, Portsmouth 2.
Bradford completed the record signing of Australian #2 goalkeeper Mark Schwarzer on Thursday. His colleagues have already nicknamed him Skippy. He was forced to jump into action early on to save from former Barnsley man Brendan O'Connell. At the other end, it was another of Chris Kamara's foreign signings who took the eye. Robert Steiner clean through but unable to beat Mike Salmon. City's first came a minute before half-time. It owed much to Gordon Cowans, whose challenge here on Mark Kinsella might have brought a booking in Europe, but here led to another golden opportunity for Steiner, this time taken with ease. It was his second goal since arriving from Sweden. Charlton laid siege to the Bradford end for the first 20 minutes of the second half. City lucky to escape when Sean Newton fired across the face of goal. And Schwarzer repaid some of his transfer fee with a point-blank block from Kinsella. It's at times like this that a cool head's required, and that's just what Chris Waddle provided. A deft chip in the 78th minute, giving City much-needed breathing space. Waddle, incidentally, is now the club's leading goal scorer with 3 this season, an indication of why, even after their first away victory, they're still in the bottom 3. After Oldham's win against Oxford, Grimsby are now 5 points adrift. Huddersfield sitting a little more comfortably in 13th. Barnsley's win against Portsmouth takes them back ahead of Sheffield United, who were held to a draw on Friday night at Bramall Lane by the leaders Bolton.